Hi, can I get 2 habanero chicken wraps, please? Crispy.
Chicken wrap. Just give me a moment.
Hello again, my dear friends. Welcome back to the channel. It's about 2 p.m. on a cold November day here in Oakville, Ontario, and today we've decided to drive over to Humber Bay Park near Toronto for a walk by the water to get some fresh fall air and to try and experience the golden hour over Lake Ontario. I've been to Humber Bay Park a few years ago, and I remember it being just an absolutely magnificent park, blending both urban landscapes and the natural beauty of the lake. A perfectly accessible and effective retreat for city dwellers for whom life otherwise tends to slip by just too fast. You know, when we think about human evolution, we often talk about the principles of natural selection, a mechanism in which certain genetic traits of ours are passed on unconsciously over a period of many thousands of years. Today, however, I want to reflect on another idea that is just as important, if not more, in our evolutionary journey, but one that is not explicitly taught to us. An evolutionary mechanism that is actually in our control. It's an idea that I call conscious selection. So, what is conscious selection? Conscious selection is a form of controlled human evolution that is created by gathering valuable experiences through our journeys, generating learnings from these experiences, and then adapting to them continuously. By doing this, we are able to fine-tune who we are during our lifetimes and evolve towards who we want to be. We are then able to reflect these learned desirable traits and values to the next generation and weed out those that will weigh them down. Have you ever noticed how people of the same family tend to have similar traits and values, both the desirable and the undesirable ones? Husbands take on some personalities of their wives, and wives take on some personalities of their husbands. Both become completely different from who they were before they got married. Children take on the personalities of their parents or suffer the effects of those personalities. It is simply being human at the end of the day to reflect the nature of those we spend the most time around and to reflect the values that are passed down to us. But this process of naturally absorbing the traits of the people or systems we spend time around is commonly a subconscious one. This subconscious passing of the baton from parent to child is what ends up causing generational trauma. Children of narcissistic parents, for example, end up narcissistic themselves or suffer the effects of becoming anxious, depressed, or having low self-confidence. Children of immigrant parents suffer the pressures and the burdens of their expectations and the ambiguity about what it means to be truly successful. Victims of violence and war, on the other hand, turn revenge into a form of purpose in their lives. If we subconsciously and blindly absorb the values of the external world, how can we ever evolve out of the trap that is our karma? The good news is that unlike natural selection, conscious selection is completely within our control as a mechanism of evolution. Step 1 of this process is self-awareness. Understand what you truly value in life. Understand what values you hold on to that are merely external ones that were passed on to you. Prioritize your values so that you will be prepared to make the right compromises when the time comes. If you consistently take actions in favor of a lower priority, then that is a good indication that there are some subconscious strings being pulled. Then, understand what causes you suffering. Reflect on where the suffering comes from. Did it begin at some point in your lifetime, or does this suffering span through generations? Step 2 then is to love yourself. Love yourself enough to recognize that what you value the most in your life is important enough to become your purpose. Love yourself enough to know that you don't have to make others' dreams your own. Forgive yourself for the traumas that hold you captive. You do not need to resolve the root causes of your suffering. You only need to come to terms with them and learn to coexist with them. Once you do that, you can let go of them and make room for energy to go after the things that give you joy. Finally, step 3 is to go after the values that you find desirable and let go of the ones that you don't. Make it a point to consciously surround yourself with people who hold the values that you desire. Spend enough time with them and you will begin to reflect what you love. Then consciously avoid environments that promote the values that you find undesirable. By weeding out these undesirable traits, you have already created the potential to allow your future generations to evolve into a stronger version of yourself. So, what we have just discussed in a nutshell is the concept of conscious selection. It is quite obvious, I know, but I think it is something that we rarely pay much attention to. I really think that by turning this principle into a sort of modus operandum for our lives, we can begin to make our lives and the lives of our future generations much more beautiful. And just like that, another beautiful day has come to an end. This really has been one of the most intense sunsets I've experienced here in Toronto. There's something quite powerful about the sun's rays peering through the red and yellow leaves of fall as it sets below the horizon. I hope you enjoyed joining me on this exploration, both through the Humber Bay Park and through my ideas on conscious selection. If you did, please do give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the community. I'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. I'll see you on the next one.